PowerPoint slide deck. Hi. So yeah, hopefully you're able to see my screen, full screen. And hi. So my name is Harish. Awesome. Thank you so. Thank you. And yeah, so hopefully you're able to see my video as well. But yeah, I'll get started. I'm going to be presenting on Design Systems JS. Building a design systems API for aiding standardization and AI integration. This is myself, Hardik. I go by Harry. I'm a student and a professional and a consultant. So with my expertise in UI engineering, web accessibility, I've been advocating on building semantic and accessible design systems to bridge user needs and technological innovation for web user interfaces, specifically web applications. And along with me is my co-author, Naveen Kamuni. He's also a researcher and professional with a rich background in contact center industry with a strong expertise in customer service, operational efficiency, and technological advancements. Um, Over the years, he's honed his skills across diverse sectors. So I'm basically a student from RIT IT department, and he's from BITS Pilani AIML department. So in this research for Design Systems API, we are introducing as part of the research Design Systems JS, which is a JavaScript library designed to standardize design systems and software development by enforcing a JSON format specification and aiding in management software use challenges and integrating AI for automated software reuse and efficiency enhancement in UX UI design. So the introduction is an expansion of the abstract, and we will dive into some terminologies in this, rapidly evolving landscape of web development. Design systems has emerged as a cornerstone for ensuring consistency and efficiency. The implementation of design systems has proven to significantly enhance user experience, streamline development processes, and foster a more cohesive brand identity. Um, Specifically, we will, as part of the research, we will look into the challenges with current design systems, which is quintessential for building a web application. And this, we will also go through a solution and an approach which will basically see the development of an API that leverages object-oriented programming to integrate and standardize different design systems. Um, so let's dive in a bit more into a design system. What is it? Because the focus is basically on a design system and the problems around it, and then the solution and how we are building the solution and understanding the solution. So, a designs, when you look at a web application, say any website, say google.com, amazon.com, or say eBay, any of these websites, what you see is basically elements of a user interface on a web page. Now, a lot of these elements, like say the search box or say your first name, your last name, your login, username, password that you enter, these elements are basically HTML fields, say text box, buttons, and they basically across the particular application, they are standard, they are consistent. What you'll see is basically they will have color schemes, they will have styles and everything which is consistent. And where are they coming from? Well, they're coming from a design system. And so that's what basically a design system is. Design system is basically consists of building blocks, a user UI patterns and certain rules. These building blocks actually may be of, combination of color schemes, grids, icons, image assets, and and then also components. And under UI patterns, what you will see is basically, like I said, elements like text fields, like buttons actually, and which we, and then they basically are nothing but an object oriented basically terminology. These are components can be bundled together as modules can be bundled together as templates. So you can imagine a search template with search fields, search results actually being shown, a lot of these templates. And these templates basically become a big part of these web applications. You will see them, across several pages. And they also include the foundation layer actually, which is of building blocks and rules. These rules are made up of design principles, best practices, implementation guidelines, do and don't, several things. So in a nutshell, what you can understand design system as just in the molecular, the world, and then the biological world, atoms, they combine together to make up molecules, which makes up organisms. Similarly, that's what the building blocks of a design system is. And when you look at a web application, that consists of templates and pages, which essentially are made up of these elements of a design system. And so we spoke about design systems, and is in terms of importance that summarizes design system as a very important software design methodology, and an approach how you want to build a web application. Also, it inculcates all the design decisions in software engineering. It also basically includes the design patterns, which basically includes the best practices, and they assure software quality. These blocks actually of a design system also ensure maintenance and reusability. So you can use those patterns everywhere across a web application or across several web applications if you use the same design system. Design systems also have design patterns which have recommendations, and best practices implemented in them. Now, some of the challenges recently with design systems as the industry, the IT industry, or the web dev applications, and several teams working on web applications, as they started building design systems and started consuming them, some of the challenges are inconsistent interpretation of design system requirements. So there is no standardization, based on that you can understand. Several different teams and companies will basically, will perceive requirements differently. Or if say they basically perceive it's, if the perceiving is the same, but the interpretation could be different. Now there, if and then the third part is the implementation. Based on how they perceive, how they interpret these requirements, they implement them very differently. So there are so many ifs and buts, permutation, combination that goes in. And then there is also the, the factor of cost, effort, and time, which will take based on that. And then the last thing is we are emphasizing as part of this research the need for standardization. How could we take all these perspectives, these challenges, the top three challenges in terms of requirements, in terms of implementation, in terms of cost, effort, and time, and how can we standardize that? And the solution is basically building a design systems based on a well-researched design systems checklist. Now, this checklist is very well researched, and following this checklist for perceiving the requirements, for interpreting the requirements, is it's based on best practices, and it's basically based on a website called as DesignSystemsJS.com. It's very well researched, and a bulk of other companies which are building design systems, Atlassian, Amazon, a lot of companies, they also follow a methodology which is very similar to what this checklist does. So we can basically safely say that, hey, we can standardize building of a design system based on this checklist. Now, one of the crucial assumptions actually, which is based on concrete research for the solution, is that for a design system, if you have a checklist, and if you can build a basically design system based on the checklist and have an API, then that API offers you a very foundational block for integrating artificial intelligence. Obviously it allows you to standardize it, but there is previous research which suggests that if you have an API, then AI can basically plug in, and AI can learn actually how it's being consumed. And a lot of AI applications can then connect to your design system to do, to make a lot of possibilities easier. So this approach, the solution design systems JS is basically is towards a standard API design, and it offers AI applications. And design systems JS is a JavaScript library. So what are the features supported by DesignSystemsJS? It offers a comprehensive suite of features that standardize and streamline the integration of design systems into software development, addressing the challenges of consistency, scalability, and accessibility in a rapidly evolving digital landscape. And I'm going to give a very quick demo. Hopefully you are able to see my screen. Yeah. Let me know if you can't. What I have on my screen is basically my source code, which has been hosted on GitHub. Uh, it's basically it's a library, JavaScript library, which is based on 50% of the source code has been written in TypeScript, which is a JavaScript superset. TypeScript compiles into JavaScript. And we have an example, the entire library has been written in TypeScript. And we have an example, a real world example of a web application built in HTML, CSS, which will consume this basically, this library, and then it will basically use a design system to, it will create a design system using this library. And so what I will show as part of this research is how this this library was perceived and it was built. And for that, I'm gonna show you some UML diagrams, how this library was built. So here is a class diagram, how this library was built. So we have a set of interfaces that it was built. These interfaces are foundations of a design system. So the design language, the brand, the guidelines, the components, and in TypeScript we call them types. But yeah, at a generic level, these are interfaces. Then we have then we also have other basically interfaces from other layers, including contribution, processes, libraries, documentation, which become part of which are consumed by the maintenance interface. Similarly, we have foundation interface, which has iconography, motion, elevation, typography, and layout. Now these interfaces basically become the skeleton for on which we can implement our classes. And these are our classes. Yeah, these are our two main classes, the design system class, which will then consume these interfaces, the component, the design language, foundation, and maintenance interfaces. And then the design systems, which is a plural, can which will consume which will consume an array of design system classes. And with that, we offer certain methods like adding design systems, removing design system, and setting the default design system. And so with that said, that's basically the implementation details of the design language using TypeScript. And then we have an example over here. This is just a snapshot, but what this does is this is a web application which is consuming the library and it's passing on a design system. These colors, these are elements actually that you see, and these colors that you see, which is a shade of black and the shade of blue, they are coming from a design system. Now, this design, like I said, this library enforces creation of a design system using JSON language, which is based on a structure based on a design system checklist. And so here is basically the JSON. As you can see, this is a sample design system, and this is a structure where I'm basically passing the foundations, the colors, the primary, secondary, and the tertiary colors for the web application using a key value pair where the value is basically an RGB based hash. And similarly for the background and the components, the primary and secondary color I'm also passing the states, the default state, the hover state, and the press state. Now this JSON is being consumed by this is being consumed by the HTML file. And I'm going to show you the source code. In the HTML file for the web application, as you can see, I'm basically retrieving the JSON file and I'm passing that JSON object to the DesignSystemsJS library. Eventually, I'm setting the root node for that web application, which is in this case is the body. And then it's basically what it's taking is it's basically serializing all the properties from the JSON and it's applying to this web application. So, and this is how the CSS file looks. What the CSS does is it's basically consuming, it has a standard set of CSS classes SDS text library, where SDS stands for sample design system, and then it consumes basically these variables which are coming from the design system, the JSON object that I showed you. Here it is, the primary, as you can see, the colors text primary, it's consuming that. And so it's consuming all of these and it's applying it to the web application. So this basically demonstration shows you how a web application using the DesignSystemJS library can interact and can assist a design system, building a design system based on a checklist using the JSON structure, and it can be applied to this web application. And there's an API for that. As we saw, this is the API. It's exposing the API using the design systems object. So using the design systems object, you can access the multiple design systems. You can access the different basically layers, the classes, beneath that, opening the door for AI applications. Now going back to my presentation. Um, So that was the demo, in-depth demo. Now, in terms of architecture of DesignSystemJS, it's based on TypeScript, and I showed you the TypeScript type definitions, how we basically built it using interfaces. Interfaces are skeletons having the methods and the properties. The classes instantiate these interfaces, and these classes are then consumed actually in a it's consumed in the web application. It's using it through JavaScript. And so I showed you how the API works. You consume the design system JS JavaScript library. You basically import the design system JS class. You instantiate it, pass your design system JSON structure, and you set the root element. Now, speaking about AI integration, now which is a topic by itself. The goal of this research was to build this library to open the doorway to AI. So we speak about the possibilities of applications of AI, but the various possibilities is a research paper by itself. So the integration of artificial intelligence into design systems is made possible by Design Systems JS, as shown in this research. It's also a significant advancement in the field of web application development. AI technologies like machine learning and data analytics can be leveraged to enhance the functionality, efficiency, and adaptability of design systems. This is proven research. AI in software testing has also been recognized as a crucial evolution, given especially given the increasing complexity of software systems. AI can also be used to employ and automate the testing of design components, ensuring higher quality and consistency. Lastly, as basically evident from my research, AI can play a role in the planning phase by analyzing existing design patterns and suggesting optimizations or new design elements based on current trends and best practices. So in conclusion, we spoke about design systems, the challenges of design systems, how we basically perceived the solution, how the design system, the API, which has been made for the community. And at this phase, actually, this library is we are inviting funding and contributors to grow this library, to address these challenges and to attempt to standardize the design systems build development and opening the doorway to AI. It's a unique solution. There is nothing existing at the moment like that. It's a unique approach and a perspective, and solves the problem of fragmentation in design system implementation. And as I said, this library is open to funding. We are literally looking for funding. We are looking to collaborators to develop and build this feature, build this library further. Any questions?
Thank you for a great presentation. I was really pleased with your slides because they are really good design and
Thank you.
great AI. Yeah. And I'd like to say that I absolutely agree that standardization is really needed because we live the standardization. But I'm afraid that if we have such a library, that could be a security risk, and that you should maybe discuss with somebody about security issues with the design set library used in use. So that could be that could challenge the during the presentation. Any other questions or comments for the presentation in the room? No? Probably everybody is waiting for the lunch. Maybe the audio present from the audience in the chat. No. Thank you very much for your great presentation and invitation for cooperation, because maybe somebody now will be able to contact you and your email is on the list. So this could be very challenging for the future, especially using AI in this standardization process.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We have an hour pause, and we'll have a lunch break, and you can discuss online as you would like. But at the end, we will meet again at 20 to 2 or 1:40. So please enjoy yourself, talk to yourself, and meet again.